Hi, it's Theo and thank you for joining me. And today we're looking at some decks you can play on day 1 of the new expansion, The Lost City of Ongoro. And the expansion will launch at 7 p.m. Central European Time, 1 p.m. Eastern Time, and 10 a.m. Pacific Time. And of course, I'll be streaming some of these decks on my Twitch channel. So if you're interested in seeing these decks in action, make sure to check that out. Now, like I said, we'll be having a bunch of decks here that are new, so they'll have a lot of stuff that you haven't seen before, and it's not like a deck with 2 new cards, and we call that a new deck. Also, make sure always with these cards, don't just craft it yet, right? Just wait a day or 2 before you craft stuff. Don't quite waste your dust and immediately build a deck and then find out the deck isn't that great. We don't want that to happen. Also, the codes, as always, will be in the description. And there also will be a link to the Vicious Syndicate article where they have even more decks and they got a bunch of decks from there. And also, don't be afraid to try out stuff yourself, whether you have certain cards or not. It's a good time to experiment, always the first few days of the expansion. So don't be afraid to try out stuff yourself. Now then, let's get started with the first deck, which is a quest Death Knight, of course, but we're going to try and make the quest work. So yeah, with the quest, you need to spend 18 corpses, so obviously that means you need a lot of corpse spenders, you need a lot of corpses, and also because just one Tyrex by itself doesn't win, we're playing the scrapbooking student, so we can get multiple of them on board and push a lot of damage with it. And with that, yeah, the corpses, right, we have like Buccaneer for some Death Rattles, we got even a Body Bag, a Morbid Swarm, just lots of ways to gain those corpses. And then spending them is obviously Corpse Explosion, can be the biggest spender, a Foam Render, the new Reanimated Pterodax, and a Airlock Breach. So lots of ways to spend corpses, gain corpses, and in the end we have some late game like finishers like Fire Wreck, Zilliax to stay alive. And then just to have your locations win the game for you. And then the second deck we have is a Demon Hunter deck, the Quest Demon Hunter with the Unleash the Colossus. So we gotta try and deal 15 times 2 damage. And then after that, all your 2 damage becomes 4 damage. And yeah, we have a lot of ways to deal 2 damage. A great way to do the quest early is these cheap cards, right? We have Infestation, this is 4 procs for the quest. Moonstone Waller, if you're lucky, can proc it a few times. Especially AoE can work, right? Like Hot Calls, Mixologist AoE, and the Wyvern Slumber. It's a lot of AoE, so yeah, that can really speed up the quest. And also, to survive, of course, we have the Blob of Tar with the Ravenous Fell Hunter, and then also the Return Policy. It's a bit like the Bullhawk, right? And this card can be really annoying for the opponent to get through. I wonder if you can play Bulk instead, although it's usually a more aggressive card. It's still very good at staying alive. And in the late game, we have stuff like Insidious, of course, which do basically 20 damage, 5 times 4 instead of 5 times 2. We got the Nomelia, which is a 4 damage AoE, which you can also get back with Return Policy. We've got the Umbra, so lots of ways to win in the late game. And then we have a Druid deck, a Token Druid deck. Though yeah, this one does not have the quest. We'll see what is better later with if it's a quest or not. But with this one, we just want to get on board really fast. And that's why we have a lot of cheap cards that generate a lot of tokens. Even like we have a Maze Guide, just 2 minions for the 1 card is really good. Got like the Ravenous Flock, right? Bucket of Soldiers, even. Can you believe this card gets played? Sky Screamer Egg. Just a lot of ways to fill that board and then get some big buffs with stuff like Overheat. Got the new Hatchery Helper. This one is a really good card, right? That's a lot of stats. Like you leave up a couple of minions. It's like almost an armor up. It's armor up in terms of stats, just less aggressive. And then also we have a bunch of draws, so you don't run out of gas with Amirdosil, obviously, and the hybridization. So this one draws a 1, 2, 3, 4 cost, and yeah, that's a lot of draw for an aggro deck like this. So just can keep going, keep pressuring the opponent, and just have them run out of AoE, and then you still have a big board left to win the game with. Then another deck we have is the Hunter deck. And the Hunter deck we have here is not a quest deck, but more of a token aggressive deck again as well for this class because of the new card Supreme Dynamancy, which gives +2/+2 to all your beasts wherever they are. And yeah, that's a really strong buff if you have board right. That can be pretty easy with cards like Mother Duck and especially Archie Rampage is such a good card. You can easily get the board with that and then you can buff those. But also the other beasts that are already in deck, right? Like these 1-drops here. We even have the new Ravasaur Matriarch, so that can be then 7 damage. to a minion. That can be a really good tempo, and it's just a nice aggressive deck overall if you want to play some Hunter. And then we have the Quest Mage, and I played this deck quite a bit in the pre-release Tavern Brawl, and yeah, it was a really fun deck. And what I noticed in this one is that yeah, the minions, when you discover it after the quest, are way stronger than the spells. Spells, there can be a lot of weak spells, obviously, but also, yeah, they can target anything, and yeah, you don't want, you know, a fireball going through your face or a frostbolt hitting your own minion. So yeah, that's why I think you want to have a lot of different discoveries. First of all, you want to really complete the quest fast. That's really important because the quest is so insanely powerful. Once you get that quest done, it just wins the game with the amount of boards you can make. But also, yeah, we want to have a bunch of minions in it. Cards like the Relentless Wrath card, the Stone of the Venom, can't believe Stone was back. But yeah, you can get a lot of minions with these that you get bored, you can win the game. We've got the Treacherous Tormentor, same thing, right? Just get 2 big legendaries on the board and then still have fun in hand. Got Balorn just to get another 2 wild cards on the board. And also we have a Relic of Kings, which isn't guaranteed in the pre-release brawl to be a board clear, but I think it's got pretty good odds to be very helpful. You have so many cheap discovers, like it should be really easy to complete the quest pretty fast, and then you can go crazy with those cards. And then the next deck we have is a deck you probably see a lot at day one. It was already very popular in the pre-release brawl, and that is this Quest Paladin deck. And yeah, Murloc Paladin, it's back just like it used to be back in the day with Ungoro. And obviously you just want to be playing a lot of Murlocs with this deck, and yeah, the changes with this deck aren't too big compared to the Brawl, but one thing we got is Brain Gill, and I think that's probably the biggest change we have here. Just means you have a lot more card draw. You didn't really have much card draw in the previous build, but here, yeah, this can give a lot of card draw. Also, that's the reason I'm playing 1 Amalgam, so you could play an Amalgam, then play the Brain Gill, and then you have the rest of the game, an Amalgam, that if it dies, draws a card. So that can be nice, I think. That's my idea behind it. And then, yeah, just lots of Murlocs, right? That's all you want to do. And then 1 non-Murloc, which is Esho, which can buff all the other Murlocs by +2/+2. And yeah, that's just a lot of stats. And then last but not least is Grunty. Maybe finally Grunty will see some play, and maybe finally Zeddy is right that this is a 4-star card. Then the next deck we have is a Priest deck, and it is an OTK Priest. Yeah, there's also Quest Priest. Again, you can find link to the codes for Quest Priest in the description. But I wanted to show this one so we have a bit of variety in terms of decks that I'm showing here. And this one is all about the Wilted Shadow, which of course is a card that once you rack up a bunch of bandages from this Careless Crafter, you can OTK with. This by itself, plus the bandages are like 4 damage each. But especially this becomes strong when you have died, basically, and then you can rest in peace 2 of them. And then each of your bandage basically deals 11 damage. And yeah, that wins pretty fast. Plus, of course, the first Wilted Shadow you don't even have to win with. It has lifesteal, so you can just get a bunch of damage in maybe, or just get a big heal and then survive until you get that rest in peace, or 2 times rest in peace. And the next deck we have here is the Quest Rogue deck. And yeah, Quest Rogue, I played it in the theory crafting. And yeah, the quest reward, once you played it, is really strong. I mean, every turn you get to draw 3 cards, 2 of which are cards that you shuffled into your deck. And those are always yeah, cards that are really strong, either cast when drawn or 1-mana cards of the Agency Espionage. So yeah, once you get the quest done, it's insanely powerful. Only problem is that I also had the theory crafting is just trying to get to that point, because you don't have too many great shuffle cards that you want to play. And then yeah, if you don't get a bunch of them early, you're just stuck with some weak cards like Espionage, not great before the quest. A card like Merchant of Legend, yeah, you're not really playing this for the legendary. It's more like just 1 mana, complete the quest, and yeah, the legendaries just actually make your deck worse. So that's not a card you want to be bouncing with the Shadow Step. What you do want to be bouncing is that Moonstone Mauler. That's an easy way to get that quest done, get a bunch of damage maybe, but mostly just want to get that quest done. That's most important with it. And then after that, your ninjas of the interrogation, just of the quest reward itself, usually win, plus some cards of the Agency Espionage. And then for Shaman, we have a Menagerie deck, just as you expect with the new quest, but yeah, it doesn't have the quest. I tried the quest, but yeah, it feels like a little bit too slow. Getting 7 different minions is actually quite difficult. And then, yeah, the payoff for it isn't even that big. Like, it doesn't even instantly win the game. You still have to have good ones. Then you still have to play minions, so you slowly gain advantage. And yeah, even in theory crafting, when people are playing the slowest deck, it felt like it was just too slow to get to the quest eventually. Because even though the quest is strong, it's just too difficult to get there. So this deck is just a Menagerie deck, like we've seen a bunch in into the Emerald Dream meta, and yeah, this is just faster than the quest reward. Of course, we have the Jug to buff those cards, and that's really strong. And then just a lot of early game, of course, with a lot of different tribes. So there's always targets for the Jug. And also we got the new card, Flight of the Firehawk, which is of course really strong. Intellect, the tutors cards, and then buffs them. What's not to like? And then for Warlock, we have the quest Warlock, and yeah, this deck looks a bit like a Cycle Rogue, because yeah, there's a lot of the same cards, right? We've got Eat the Imp, Living Flame, kind of Rogue was stealing these Warlock cards. And then yeah, the Mauler we have here as well, right? We got the Insidious Playhouse Giant, so you're kind of cosplaying as a Psycho Rogue. But also, we're running the quest. That's what's also very important, because this quest, yeah, it's pretty strong once it gets completed. But again, just like with some other quests, right? If you don't draw the right cards early, like Cross Catacombs, the Biome, Solarium, Deadlight, or Tunnel Terror, those are the temporary cards. And yeah, if you don't draw those early, then yeah, you kind of have a weak deck if you just go all in on the quest. So that's why we have those cards like Playhouse Giant you hopefully can get early. And with mass production means you always have basically a card that you can throw into the Underfell. Because after the first mass production, yeah, every mass production you get 2, you can throw away one of them. And then you kind of have infinite pressure with this deck, on top of the damage you get with Mauler and the Playhouse Giants Insidious. That then should hopefully, well, that's the idea of the deck, to win the game. And the last deck I got for you is this warrior deck, the Quest Warrior. And yeah, try to kind of mix the Quest Warrior with the Hydration Warrior, because I'm not entirely convinced the quest of the Enter the Lost City are really good enough by itself to win. So I still have a bunch of the taunt cards that are really good at surviving, like the Tortilla, right? The Ziliax and the Ham, so great cards again for the Hydration Station, as you probably know by now if you've played in the last metas. And then also we have some new cards with the Shellnado. So yeah, this one, you have only a few ways to gain armor, but yeah, this card can be really strong, obviously, with the safety goggles. You can do it already on turn 4. But yeah, just a lot of removal as well with the hostile invader, the brawl, right? Just try and survive with that quest, and then with the hydration station after that. And then with Elise, we can build the custom location, and then can do some really strong things. You can have stuff like copy another minion, so you can copy like a Ziliax, which is really strong. Ham, if you maybe want to kill some cards in the opponent's deck, or you can get some armor, so that one gives you armor, and then immediately have it enabled for the Shellnado, and that can then clear the board to let you live to do that quest again, and hope that with the Time Warp wins the game. And those are all the decks I got for you today. Later this week I should have a best decks video as well, once the dust has settled, so look out for that one. If you have any decks you want to share, make sure to post them in the comments. And if you enjoyed the video, if it was helpful, make sure to like and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and until next time.